Thank you all for coming out to this hastily called press conference. The league's about to kick off, so I know that you've all got lots of things to do, but I want to thank you all for coming out. Thank you to Russell Paul from the South African Football Association. There's been a lot of media coverage, a lot written and said in connection with Stuart over the last few weeks, and it must be said that a lot of it has been embellishment and a little bit of fabrication. So Stuart has decided that he wanted to address you all himself in his own words. He's prepared a statement which he will read out. Afterwards, Mr. Russell Paul will give a short statement, and then we'll open up the floor to a few questions. So let me hand over to Stuart.
Good morning, everybody. There won't be any protocols observed here, I think. So, I've spent the last couple of weeks after AFCON reflecting on all aspects of our performance and the way forward. Firstly, I must say that given the compromised preparations that they had, both the players and staff gave a strong account of themselves, and at this time, in the rebuilding of this squad, the experience of this tournament will support future development. After the disappointment of not qualifying for Russia, I submitted a 4-step plan to SAFA. Phase 1 was the rebuilding of the squad, both in terms of average age, deepening the squad, and improving the culture surrounding the squad. Going to AFCON, this squad had not lost for over a year and a half, and that was of course not an easy thing to do, whilst introducing new players and new ideas. I'm sure that you guys would have been licking your lips if we'd have been, during that process, losing every other game. Going to this AFCON became phase 2. After qualifying for that major tournament, we needed to gain the confidence and experience to be able to compete at the highest level again and to test our in-tournament strategies. Phase 3 would be to gain momentum, and I believe that this squad is now well placed to do that with the introduction of a few younger players who have been identified from the younger squads. And Phase 4 was obviously to make an impact at the World Cup. I do, however, feel that someone else should now continue this project, and therefore I will be resigning from my position as head national coach with SAFA. I feel that I cannot continue to work with the required professionalism and passion that I have done, and to deal with the many issues that will be involved with this program. Excuse me. A coach must have confidence that his input will help forward the project, and at this moment in time, and particularly after the experience of AFCON, my belief in that process has weakened considerably. I've chosen not to point fingers in the past and will not do that now. I'm a professional, and even when it would have been easier for me personally to blame others, I've remained focused on what I could do to affect the situation and trying to retain a level of integrity. Choosing not to answer some hugely inaccurate, misinformed and misleading media coverage has also been difficult, but something that I've grown used to and tried to not let it sway my judgment. But in the process, risking being accused of being arrogant or aloof for not answering. I would like to thank each and every player that has played under me with Bafana during the last couple of years and wish them all the best in their continued international careers. For their part, everyone at SAFA House will need to work together with other major stakeholders effectively, and I would like to thank Russell and the President and wish them good luck for the future with Vision 2022. Thank you.
Yeah, from South African Football Association's perspective, we take note of what the coach has just said now, and we want to to wish him all the best in his future endeavours. I think what is very important to make note of is the fact that Stuart has played a very, very big role in advancing the cause of Vision 2022 with all the qualifications of our various national teams. Through that, whether it was the under-17 girls or the under-20 boys that went to the World Cup, the women's team that qualified for the World Cup, Bafana Bafana itself qualifying for AFCON. He's played a major role in having various discussions with the various coaches, helping encourage them through that process. More importantly as well, over the last 18 months, just prior to AFCON, getting into AFCON, as you said, he's moved into that phase with an unbeaten record. So we're very thankful for his input that he has provided over the years, allowed us through his own expertise to build up a good squad that we have now, a squad that in his own mind and in our mind we believe is ready to move on to the next phase, to face those next aspects of AFCON 2021, the World Cup 2022. He's managed to blood a number of young players into the squad, and it's important that we grow that and we take note on the good luck wishes from his perspective in moving forward with Vision 2022. So whoever is stepping into his feet has got a very solid platform to work with, and he's allowed that input to grow and allowed us to continue with the success. So again, from SAFA perspective, President's perspective, we want to thank you very much for your support, your commitment, and we want to wish you very well over the years as you move on to bright futures for yourself. Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks. We're going to take a few questions, so if you'll please raise your hand and identify yourself and let us know who the question's for.
Coach Stuart, hi, over here. Media pressure, supporters pressure, or pressure from SAFA, which one of the three has pushed you to make this decision?
It'd be easy to say a combination, but supporter pressure, I never feel that. Because if you do, then you shouldn't be in this job. Media pressure, it's background noise, really is. You know, it's part of the game. You guys have opinions. I don't expect everybody to agree with my opinions. Respect is an important word for me. And at some point you say, at the age you are, the point in your career, the point in your life, is this what you want to be doing? If it is, then you have to be getting a lot out of it. And so really, that plays a part to a degree, but that's not a decisive part. It's a combination of the whole situation that I'm working in.
The gentleman in the green top, can you just identify yourself, please?
Coach, at the end of your statement, you spoke about Vision 2022. From where you're leaving the squad or a group of players that you were working with at AFCON, how realistic is that dream for South Africa and for SAFA?
To qualify for the World Cup
And
to have an impact in the World Cup. I think if you look at the four phases that I outlined for SAFA, we're on track. We're on track. We've deepened the squad. We've got younger players. We've tried to create this conveyor belt. As Russell said, I've done a lot of work at workshops with the different squads on the field, the ladies, the under-19s, and we've identified the players that will be able to come through when some of the older players that are in the squad now move on. So I think that the next phase of gaining momentum will be really, really vital, because you need to pick up speed now and you need to start building confidence. And again, I've said it before, you have to pull together, and you guys have to pull together as well. You can't be disingenuous about wanting success but not wanting to be a part of that success, because everybody is. And quoting things like when I'm driving down the street and I see 17 million it will cost SAFA if they sack Baxter. That is so ridiculous. You don't even know. I think Mark Twain said, "Get your facts straight before you distort them." Now that's so far away from the truth that it's ridiculous. So you guys do have to play that role. Otherwise, you can't sit and say to Russell, "We expect SAFA to do this. We expect Bafana to do that." You guys have got a role as well.
Thomas?
Coach, have you been able to submit your technical report to SAFA so that they should, if they get somebody else, they should be able to look after the AFCON, what to go, where to go after this?
Good question, and it took me about 3 days at the end of the completion of AFCON before SAFA had the technical report on every game. My recommendations about the build up to AFCON, the physical loading of the players, how we dealt with the heat, the whole report is with SAFA now.
Charles Paulo from Daily Sun Sunday Sun. Coach, have you decided what are you going to do next? Are you intending to stay in South Africa, or are you going to go out? And then to SAFA, in terms of the settlement, what is the way forward? Have you agreed on how much you pay Stuart?
I'll answer Russell. I won't embarrass Russell by saying that the settlement will be massive zero. This is not about money. It's never been about money for me. It's been an honour to coach the national team, and it's never been about money. I've been very upset when people have written things like the coaches not doing anything. Look at the PSL coaches, how hard they're working, the stress they're under. Quoting me as earning anything between 12 and now 17 million rand. It's obviously the easiest way of upsetting people that are struggling in South Africa, to say this lazy national coach who earns a fortune, So this has never been about money, and all of those quotes were so far off the mark it was embarrassing. Now I'm resigning my role. Therefore, if SAFA said to me, "Listen, we would like you to stay for 2 weeks extra or 1 month extra to help us in the transition," then I would be paid for that. But I won't be paid for not doing anything, and certainly not for resigning my job. What I'm going to do next, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I said.
No, I think the coach has answered your question. So, as far as we're concerned, we're at that place.
Coach, the 73 million you're talking about, you're saying it's ridiculous. I think you must blame yourself and SAFA for not telling us how much you were earning. That came from you not disclosing. So if there's anything ridiculous, it is you not telling us how much you were earning.
Oh dear. Do I really need to answer that? I mean, does the assembled press want me to answer that? That I should announce when I'm employed, I should announce what my salary is.
No. Yeah, dealing with that. Yeah, being ridiculous again.
Should I announce what my salary is?
Exactly. The figure is ridiculous. Tell us how much you were earning. Why don't you?
Please.
Yeah.
There's people laughing at you over this.
Traveling from your frame, Coach, when you've been here for 2 stints now, and in this resignation, when results were not part of the driving force, how would you describe the 2 tenures that you've had, both the stuff that happens on and off the field, with regards to this job? And it's part of this question, but the second part is that, what is it about this job that, there's a different type of personality Bafana coaches before and after, and before they leave? You've seen when you're in the country before, there's quite a positive and festive atmosphere about it, but towards the end there's a lot of heads batting, not just with the coaching, the media, even the association. What do you make of those transitions?
Well, the first time I was national coach, I'm not sure I was really prepared for it, to be very fair. I came from the largest football association in the world, the English Football Association. I'd worked with some of the best players in the world. I'd got a track record that was both in terms of youth development and senior football at the highest level. I held coaching qualifications in 2 countries that were higher than anybody else, or even close to, in South Africa. And yet, when I got off the plane, it was Stuart who. Now, I don't know if that's respectful. I don't know if that's people that want to, from the beginning, create a problem. I wasn't ready for that. I was ready for a country that may be going to host a World Cup, wanting now to do things properly and maybe change the way they did things, but that wasn't the case. And I wasn't ready for people that were prepared to, let's say, sacrifice things around the success of the team as long as they could keep their positions of power. I wasn't ready for that. So this is different this time. This time, I really feel with Vision 2022 that people want to be better. Now, I'm not sure that we're all on the same page, because continuously, even when I started, it's been well, let's destabilise, let's throw a hand grenade in there, and I'm at the point where I think, well, that, and do I really believe that because of the implementation we will get where we want to go? I don't think I'm the right person to do that, because I don't think that is I think we need someone that's got a clean bill of health, so to say, and can just be optimistic and positive and do the proper work. Now, it's been an honour to work with the South African national team, and I don't think that anybody could have done more than I've done. In terms of, I've been in Europe to scout our young players. I've done workshops with the coaches. I've done work on the field with the ladies team, with the kids, I've been in club visits all over the country, visited the coaches, trying to cooperate, trying to get everybody on board. And even I've shown you guys, I hope, the respect when I felt that was reciprocal. Now, I just think if South Africa gets on the same page, then Vision 2022 has got a massive chance, because we do have resources, but we are not, and I say this again, we are not there yet, because tactically, technically, socially, mentally, we've all got to get on the same page. And if we do, then I look forward to seeing South Africa in that World Cup.
And the part of the job, from the smooth to developing grey hairs and the head batting.
Yeah, but I don't think that's anything different than what I've just said. You know, you take the job. I mean, when I took the job the first time, from day one, people were questioning and wanting to be confrontational. So this time round, people knew me because I've won everything you can win in this country at club level. So then there was a modicum of patience, but not even then, not from some people. It was an affront that I was the national coach. Why wasn't this guy the national coach? And so even from then, it doesn't develop into headbutting. It grows from headbutting to throwing hand grenades. You know, it just grows. So given that, that's what I said. You know, you have to ask yourself, can we succeed in that environment? Can we succeed? You know, when I'm looking at the recommendations that I make, can we succeed? And if the answer to that is, well, I don't think I'm the right person to do that, and at my stage in my life and career, that's not what I want to be doing, then I think you've got to be honest with yourself and honest with everybody else.
The gentleman at the back in the grey top, and then we're going to move to this gentleman in the front here. And I think that's going to be the last two questions.
Yes. Thank you, Bill from SAFA. Mr. Kaposhnik, when we were in Egypt, the coach did confirm that they coaches from inside the country and also outside. How far are you? Have you been receiving anything? And also, maybe Mr. Paul, we've got a FIFA calendar, FIFA week coming up next month, and also the qualifiers for the AFCON starting in November. What's the process?
In terms of your question about Egypt, I can tell you that there were approaches with Stuart before he left and while he was in Egypt. And when I get contacted and I discuss it with him, his response both times was the same. I'm not interested. I've got a job to do. I'm focusing on my job. I'm focusing on the SAFCON. So he actually didn't take those positions. Those positions were subsequently filled by other coaches, and that shows his commitment to the national team.
And here in the country?
Yeah, Julie.
Yeah, he's had approaches from in the country and from outside the country, and both of them were rejected.
I think the question is, how committed have I been to South Africa during this time I've been the national coach? Steve's right. I've had at least one very, very lucrative offer financially. As I said, money is not my God, and therefore I was totally committed. When we played Libya, the week that we were due to leave, I was at a doctor's and they said I got cancer. They said, you need to have an op now. And I said, you can wait. I have to go to Libya. I cannot send the boys without me. I'm their best chance to reach AFCON. So I went, and it was amazingly difficult for me to concentrate, knowing that when I got back, I've got to have a biopsy, and they would tell me if I got cancer or not. Now I put that off. And I didn't do that because I'm a hero. I did that because I'm a professional. And so my commitment to the South African cause has been undoubted. Now, I would say that anybody that has called me has received the same. As long as I'm the South African national coach, I will not speak to you. And if you want to ask people in this country, and Steve will give you the names, address of people out of the country, that has been my constant mantra. And now, I don't know. I've got a question. What are you going to do? I don't know. Maybe I'll go back to Europe. Maybe that's me done in South Africa. Maybe not. But certainly, there's no sort of contingency plans here. Anything that happens will have to happen from now on in.
I think it's very important to pay that tribute to the coach around the illness that he had, and he remained totally committed. We had discussed this matter, it's something which he had raised, but he believed that he needed to move forward. He had a very strong objective and a strong commitment, not only to the country and to SAFA, but more importantly, to the players that he had taken through that phase, and he believed that it was into the next phase of AFCON and the qualification that he needed to be there, and he needed to guide those younger players through, and I think the rest is history in terms of the qualification phase. So again, Coach, for that commitment, we thank you expressly along that end. As far as where we head to, yes, we've got friendlies in September. There are friendlies scheduled for October, and then qualifiers in November. And obviously now with this announcement, we're going to technical committee meeting tomorrow, and we'll take direction from them, and then we'll either issue a statement tomorrow after the technical committee, or sometime during the course of next week, where we will keep everybody informed about the process. But the intention would be to try and resolve something before the end of August.
Last question over here.
Coach, before you took over the second time in this role, you mentioned that you had a more overall view to the job instead of just winning matches, obviously with the plan that you submitted to SAFA about that. But were you a little naive about the organization that you rejoined? And you thought that maybe things had changed with the passing of time in the decade that passed in between? Did you think that the organization had changed and therefore you took the job over under that?
Yeah, I understand your question. Yeah, it's a very good question, because when I took the job, first it was look at the document, look at Vision 2022. This is what we're aspiring to. And you didn't get a chance to do it the first time, and now you'll get a chance to affect these things the second time. I wouldn't say overestimating is the right word, but the difficulty in implementation, taking it from a document and actually implementing it, is far more difficult than just clicking your fingers. So, in that respect, yes, there's a disappointment that, especially in the beginning, that things went so slow. Things went so slowly, and recommendations that are made were not able to be implemented. And so the whole implementation process, I think, has gone too slowly. Now, am I saying that as a criticism? No, I'm saying that as just a stating of fact. It is more difficult than, and the more there is turbulence, or the more there is negativity, and the more there are question marks, the slower it becomes. And that's where I get into this, can you actually affect it the way you want to? And the answer to that is no, not at the moment. Now, does that mean that the process is dead? No, it doesn't. But it just means that, as you say, maybe I really wanted it to happen, and therefore, in my head, we can make it happen. But the implementation is so much more difficult, given the facts that are on the ground. The people that are on the ground, are there enough? Are they of the high enough quality? Do we need to train them up? There's so many things that I cannot affect. So I think it's a slight yes to your question, but I'd like to take it in the correct way, not as a massive criticism of people, but more just a statement of a fact.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of the press conference. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Stuart.